Okay. The time now is 1:02 p.m. I would like to call to order the meeting of the Ways and Means Committee of the Onondaga County Legislature. It is 1:02 p.m. on August 25th. Can the clerk please call the roll?
Leader May.
Here.
Legislator Romeo.
Here.
Legislator Denton.
Here.
Legislator Bush.
Here.
Leader Hernandez.
Here.
Legislator Burtis.
Here.
Chair Brown.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. So the first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any objections to the previous meeting minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Now we'll move to the business section. So first we have item 1A. We are going to be inviting up CFO Smiley for the approval and directing of correction of certain errors of tax bills. CFO Smiley.
Good afternoon. So just one correction for you, requested out of Skinny Atlas. It was a clerical error and a duplicate parcel. The property taxes have been paid in full, so just clerical.
Sounds good. Are there any? We have a motion on the floor. Leader Hernandez, is there a second? Second, Legislator Romeo. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstain? The ayes have it. Thank you so much, CFO Smiley. Next, we will have Commissioner Dyer with item 2A from what? And Odine, as you come to the mic, I'll just ask that you present your name and title for the record. Blah, blah, blah.
Sure. Good morning, right? Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Odine Dyer, and I am the commissioner for WEP. So the proposed changes to the Onondaga County Sanitary District sewer unit rents continues the work undertaken over the past 5 years to make the sewer rent structure more equitable and reflective of actual usage. The proposal would reduce the assumed annual usage from 85,000 gallons to 70,000 gallons per sewer unit. This adjustment is intended to better align costs with usage and ensure that customers placing the greatest demand on the sanitary sewer system bear an appropriate share of the system's cost. This is part of the county's ongoing efforts to maintain a fair, sustainable, and financially responsible sewer rate structure while continuing to provide reliable sanitary sewer service and support necessary system investments.
Thank you. There's a question, Leader May.
Thank you. Odine, how you doing?
All right.
So we've moved this threshold a few times over the years. This seems like a pretty substantial jump down. Do you guys have a forecast in terms of, I know we know more every time we do this as well, but do you have a forecast of like what percentage of users may be impacted by this change?
What I can say is that this change will not impact residential users. It will have an impact on any user that was utilizing 2 or more sewer units throughout the year. Okay. So residential users, they get one unit, and all this does is just adjust the definition of what 1 unit is.
Thank you.
I did have a question, kind of on the same vein. We've moved it a couple times. Is this just every year we'll be moving it a little bit, or is there like a 5-year plan for kind of just following up on what was asked at EP? It seems like CFO Smiley has an answer.
Let me just jump in. So that's exactly it. So what we've been trying to do is incrementally reducing it down so that an average unit is about what an average household has been doing it. So we've been moving them down in increments between 5,000 and 15,000, same amount we did last year. So it's the same decrease we went from 100,000 down to 85,000 last year, taking it down to 70. There's probably maybe one more year in the plan to get it down to where it should be. So it's been a plan of about 6 or 7 years now. We've been trying to incrementally do it so that we're not also impacting those users in 1 year. So that's why we've been doing it in increments.
Okay, so the goal is to get it near where the households are?
Yeah, so it's,
Okay.
the goal ultimately is to make sure that the largest users of our wastewater system, obviously our commercial industrial users that are putting the most into the system, are those that are bearing the cost of it, so that it's taking away some of the cost bearing from the residential users and doing it into the industrial and commercial users that are the ones that are putting the most into our wastewater system.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That did answer my question. Any other questions from Legislator Romeo?
2 questions. Do we know how many units this will increase our unit?
I don't have it at my fingertips, but I can certainly get that. We have an estimate. We're still working through identifying all the units, obviously, as we're completing the budget, but I can get that information to you, certainly.
Yep. And then the number of units impacts the rate, correct? Because it's divided by the number of units?
Absolutely, that is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Legislator Denton.
Thank you. I just had a question on process. So in this, it referenced a commissioner hearing on August 27th. And so can you speak about that a little bit?
Sure. So the commissioner's hearing is an opportunity for individuals to come out and have a conversation or be heard. We have it on August 27th. We did post it in the Post Standard. We have an affidavit that shows you the different town halls that we posted it in as per, I believe it's, I can't remember which specific law states where we posted, but we followed that to the T. And essentially, we start off with opening the floor. I say, actually, what I'm going to say is my blurb here, just to be very standard. And then if anyone has any comments, they can, if anyone shows up, they can be on the record for what they want to say regarding that.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from legislators for item 2A? Yes, Legislator Bush.
A quick question about the finances. We're talking about changing the minimum usage. Is that what you charge?
Chris, you can help you.
What we're talking about here is 1 unit equates to a certain number of gallons.
Right.
So it will be that, so it's bringing that down to 70,000 gallons equals 1 unit. So if you're using, a commercial industry is using 140,000 a year, obviously you're going to be charged 2 units. So it's just bringing the gallons, what 1 unit equates to in terms of gallons.
Do you have a graph or a chart about how this dollar amount changes?
So this isn't a dollar amount that we're talking
Okay.
about right now. It's just what the gallon, what equates to 1 unit. So through the budget process, we'll be talking about what the sewer unit charge will be as we're still finalizing the budget. So that'll be brought to you and we can discuss that at that point and you can see what the units, the cost per unit has done over the years. We can certainly go through that and we will be going through that during the budget process.
Are you expecting to come back at some point and change that unit again, the number?
So we it may come down one more time in out years, just as we continue to bring it down, but probably only one more time, I would assume, because we're getting very close to what an average household is.
Okay. Thank you, CFO Smiley. Are there any other questions from legislators? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve item 2A. Legislator Romeo, is there a second? Legislator Burtis, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstain? The ayes have it. Thank you. Now we'll move to item 2B. OD? Yeah.
Okay, so item 2B is pertaining to a utility work agreement with New York State DOT. So this agreement is essentially WEP allowing New York State DOT to move one of our infrastructure, a piece of our infrastructure. It is our Erie Boulevard storage structure. And it is as a result of I-81 that's coming in. There's a portion of it that is in conflict with this structure. To be very clear, the work will be completed by New York State DOT. WEP will have the ability to review all the drawings, look over the plans, the documents, and give final sign-off. And we would also have our inspectors out on site inspecting the work that the contractors that New York State DOT brings in to do the work, inspect their work as well. We will also be involved throughout the process and progress meetings and all that, just to make sure that we know, because we know what our structure is supposed to be and we have our checkpoints that we need to check, so we're making sure we're staying involved in that process. And ultimately at the end, we're providing final sign-off on completion as well.
Thank you. Are there any questions from legislators? Item 2B, Legislator Romeo.
Somewhat related. Do you have any idea how much money this is saving us by them doing it? Or what that would cost if we were to do it?
I can tell you that I haven't paid too much attention to the dollar amount because we're not paying for it.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that none of the cost to change it will come from the county. So it's,
No, I'm just glad that it's being done and we don't have to pay for it. It's great.
yeah. It is not something that is going to increase the life cycle of the overall structure as well, which is very important when it comes to these utility agreements. So.
Leader May.
Thank you. Either way, I think the savings are obvious. We know how much these projects tend to cost. This is a practice, whether they're going in the ground or we're going in the ground. We're making arrangements to create these types of efficiencies, so it kind of cuts both ways. I think everybody wins, and I would encourage us to keep on doing this whenever we possibly can. And with that, I'll move the item as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion from Leader May. Is there a second? I have a second from Leader Hernandez. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstain? The ayes have it. Thank you so much, Odine. Next, we have, Parks, item 3A. Come on down, Commissioner. I'll let you read it out.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Nicotra, Deputy Commissioner of Parks. Commissioner Kelly sends his regrets for not being here, but he's on a much-deserved vacation with his family this week. So I'm before you today, if you recall or may not recall, back in December, this legislature accepted the $1 million grant from the state for our second phase of the Beaver Lake Boardwalk. Now the state comes back a few months and says they want something more specific in a resolution to better identify the grant that this is being paid out of. So that's why I'm here today. They basically wanted to add, the resolution in front of you is identical to what they want, but their main line was to state under the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act of 2022, Article 58, Title 5 of the Environmental Conservation Law.
Did we have to change anything in order to meet that threshold, or it's just a matter of presenting information they didn't previously have?
That's just a matter of presenting the exact resolution they want.
Just in their format.
That's it. Just a formality. This is the last piece of the puzzle for this grant.
Nice.
Once this is approved, they will be able to release the funds and we can get this project out to bid.
Sounds good. Are there any questions from legislators? Leader May?
Just a comment.
Yes, sir.
This is great. It's great to even be talking about it again. This is a project that has cost significantly more than planned for natural obstacles out there in redoing the boardwalk specifically. Being a member of the Friends of Beaver Lake Board, I know firsthand that the impact of some of those cost overruns were a major concern to the Friends in terms of what it was going to cost them in terms of a contribution. This grant, which was pursued by the former director, I believe, of the park, and successfully received, is saving both the county and the Friends quite a bit as a result of this combined effort. So this is great, because otherwise this would have been a project that probably ran 50% over in anticipated costs. Again, just because the ground is really soft and you got to go way, way down for each post to make that boardwalk stable. So this is great. Thank you. I'll move it. I know people want to discuss.
Leader Hernandez?
Not really discuss. I do second it. I just want to say I'm glad that we caught that language, because one thing in New York State, the language really does matter, and it was great for them to give us the opportunity to change it now. Then we do the work right and don't get the grant because of the language. So I second it.
Okay, so No other comments? Okay. So there was a motion and from Leader May and a second from Leader Hernandez. Seeing no more discussion? Correct? Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Aye. All those opposed? All those abstain? The ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Deputy Commissioner. Item 4A, we are going to be pulling unless there's any objection to me pulling item 4A. Does anyone object to me pulling item 4A? Okay. Seeing none, that item will be pulled. For item 4B, I believe Legislator Block is going to be presenting to us about a memorializing resolution reaffirming the armed federal immigration enforcement officers may not intimidate voters or access non-public areas at polling locations in Onondaga County, absent a valid judicial warrant. Legislator Block, the floor is yours.
It's a lot to say.
It is.
Thank you. I'm presenting this resolution as a symbol to support the people who work at election sites and expect they will experience a regular day of earned pay. Despite laws stating that armed federal agents may not enter polling sites to intimidate or disrupt the process of voting, they've overstepped these parameters in the primary election cycle this year. We wish to extend our support for poll workers by providing them with materials that will help them should another similar instance occur. Under duress, it is always helpful to have reminders and training, and being approached by a federal agent in this political climate has been more than stressful for many. This is why we are encouraging the posting of Know Your Rights signage at the 100-foot mark outside polling sites, as well as providing resources for Know Your Rights trainings. This resolution does not purport to enforce restrictions on federal agents, but simply reiterates what is and is not allowed at polling sites. It also does not serve to say that there are any known concerns for voting at this time. It simply states support for the people who have expressed concern for being in polling sites this election season, excuse me, and that this legislative body elects to do all it can to support the process with additional tools and resources, as well as a statement entered into record that their concerns have been heard, acknowledged, and appropriate action has been taken.
Thank you. Are there any questions about item 4B? Leader May? Leader May.
Thank you. So I don't want to be redundant. I think Legislator McCarron had some really good comments during public safety over why it's likely this caucus won't support this. You know, for the most part, the situation that occurred was kind of a one-time occurrence. It's not a trend. The local law itself, man, I think it cites 5 or 6 different laws, federal and otherwise, that already make it very clear that this is not allowed. So, you know, kind of in the spirit of, you know, how I feel about memorializing resolutions in general, I won't be supporting it, and at this point, I don't have a sense that the caucus will either. It seems to be a bit of a perhaps overreaction to a one-time incident. So that's where we stand. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments from legislators? Leader Hernandez.
I just want to make a quick comment about the one-time incident and the purpose of memorializing resolutions, to just make sure we stop things that are happening, right? Because we have elections one time a year, right? So we have another election coming up, and we don't want the trend to start. So that was the last election, so that's why it was that one time. We don't know if it's going to occur again because elections occur one time a year. So it might occur again this election that's coming up. So just to be preventative, this is something that does need to be put up as signage to let them know that they can't go in and bother those who are representing democracy and already not even getting paid a lot and doing something that's good for the community.
Thank you, Leader Hernandez. Any other questions, comments from legislators? Legislator Bush.
Hi. Would you be willing to support a resolution that includes all police agencies?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Well, I mean, you honed in on armed federal immigration enforcement officers. But I don't think any police agency should come into a polling place under the circumstances that you've outlined.
So I'm not positive that that would be, sorry. Oh.
Yeah.
If there was, for example, a fight that were to break out, right? It was explained to me that our local agencies would respond to help with that. So we don't want to prevent them from coming in for, say, a fist fight or something, you know, something of that sort of nature where they would typically respond. So I'm not positive how that would have that sort of impact.
Did you have a follow-up question, Legislator Bush?
I just feel a little uncomfortable that this isn't a more holistic approach to protecting our polling places from any armed police that don't have a valid warrant or an emergency situation for going there. And what you outlined with ICE, I'm not sure that the fellow was unarmed, I understand, that came into the polling place. Is that correct?
He left his weapon in the car.
Pardon?
He left his weapon in the car.
Right, so he was unarmed when he walked in. And I just want to be sure that your protection of the polling places is encompassing all enforcement or police agencies and not singling out just one. And that's what this appears, that you're singling out one for one incident rather than coming up with a proposal that would apply to all police agencies in the same circumstance that you're using here, the same situation.
Understood. Leader Hernandez, did you have a question?
I just wanted to support trying to clarify for Legislator Bush that when you have police officers, they do enter a building for, like Legislator Block said, an emergency reason, right? So they're there to protect and to serve. When ICE enters into a polling place, they're entering for a specific reason to go detain. So there's kind of like two different type of policing going on. We want our police to go in for emergency reasons, right? But we don't want ICE to go in and detain citizens that they might not even have the legal right to detain.
Are there any other questions from legislators? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 4B. Oh, wait, no, this would just be considered, right? We're not voting on this one. As you were. Are we voting on this one? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so we can vote on it. I thought we were just considering this, but we will be voting on it. And there is a motion from Leader Hernandez. Do we have a second? I see a second from Legislator Denton. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All those abstain? The item passes 4-3. Thank you. Next, we have item 4C. I believe Leader May is going to be speaking to this. On behalf of the sponsor? Perfect. If you want, you can speak from right there. You don't have to come.
We're just asking for this item to be considered, please, and just for the purpose of keeping it on the desk for the time being. It's been the practice of this caucus always to respect other branches of government, especially when we're being told to do things from their standpoints of responsibility and authority. So we intend to, comply with all of that, but we do want to keep this on the desk for the time being. This, to be clear, this is not competing legislation. This is not dueling legislation. We just want to administratively keep it on the desk until probably session or thereabouts. Okay? So if we could call it considered, I'm done talking about it.
Sounds good. Does anybody else have anything to say about item 4C before we consider it considered? Okay, seeing none, item
Thank you.
4C is considered. Next, we will go to item 4D, and I believe Chairwoman Watts will be speaking about the item.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I am here to discuss item 4D, which is the new local law that Leader May just referred to. I believe everyone is caught up on what's going on, but just to make sure that we're all on the same page, as it has not been discussed in a public meeting here, there was a negotiated agreement arrived to last week between all of the involved parties related to the term limits law that passed in this House in our last session, and then had confusion surrounding whether or not it was accepted or vetoed by the county executive. Due to a variety of factors, we were not able to fully adjudicate the situation here in our own branch as a legislature because there were questions that existed that were beyond our purview. And so we had to take it to the courts. That was taken initially by the Board of Elections commissioners. So there was a case that was between the two Board of Elections commissioners where the conflict existed. The county executive determined or expressed his intent to file a suit. The judge then called us to have a attorney also join that discussion. That was a judicial conference that took place a few weeks ago. The Judge Lamandola, then offered the opportunity for us to continue forward with a negotiated agreement with the judge, and that is what led to the law that is sitting in front of you today. All the involved parties brought their different interests through attorneys into those conversations and negotiated the local law that is sitting in front of us. I want to make sure that I'm very clear. This did not remove our ability as a legislature. We still have a responsibility here to pass this law. So if we don't pass it through the regular legislative process here, then it doesn't pass and it does not go forward. So they did not remove our ability in any way for us to pass or not pass the law. This is the pathway that was provided in the negotiated agreement. I also want to be clear what happens if we don't pass it, is it puts us back at ground zero with the situation that took place before, because this law supplants the previous law. So if we don't supplant the previous law, that other law is still in a question mark. However, if we do in fact pass this law as a legislature, it then moves forward to the county executive's desk. The agreement states that that if we pass it, it goes to the county executive. He has agreed to sign it into law by September 9th, including the public hearing and so forth. So the agreement also exists with the Board of Elections that they will both do their dual duties to sign to put it on the ballot. At any point in the process, all of those parties have, as usual, their agreed upon responsibilities to follow. So at any point, any one of those parties does not do that, then we're back at ground zero. However, if all parties do what they agreed to in the negotiated agreement, then we have officially supplanted the previous local law and are now moving forward. I think that the thing that I'm the most excited about in this is that we get to get term limits on the ballot for our voters this November, which there was no other pathway that was going to make that possible. I believe that this is something that our voters have clearly expressed that they would like to see. I also shared the negotiated agreement with all of you as legislators. That does not have to do with this local law directly, but I just want to flag that it also has a statement in it that relates to whether or not a Board of Elections commissioner is able to take the action that happened before. This was determined and clearly stated that this does not set precedents, and if any such thing happens in the future, it will go straight to the judge for judicial determination. So this thing that we are considering here is not that particular piece of the negotiation. That's in the negotiated agreement. We are purely considering this local law the way that we always consider local laws. This is just one that was crafted by the negotiated agreement rather than the more typical process. So I think with that, pass it back to the chair.
So move.
There's a motion on the floor from Legislator Romeo, but is there any discussion? Does anybody? Okay, seeing none. Seeing none? Okay. I will be looking for a second to the motion on the floor. Legislator Bush. Oh, yeah, we're not voting on this. This is just being considered.
Just discussion,
Good job.
yes.
We're just considering this. Thank you. You threw me off. No worries.
I was trying to get it
So this
moved.
item has been considered. Item 4D has been considered, and it will go to the September 1st session, where it'll be voted on and probably discussed there at length. Seeing none. How to work this? Can I get a motion to adjourn? Let's do that. Leader Hernandez, is there a second? Legislator Bush, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned at 1:30.